How are you? I know you just sat for a while. Now we're gonna sit some more. But hopefully we can make this part of your day enjoyable. I think it's a little more relevant to you specifically why you're here, so we can get into some specifics about the department and hopefully answer any of the questions that you have. Before we get started, how many of you are are like either undecided or you're here today for a different major, but yeah, joined us anyway? Is that we got one person who's willing to admit it? By the end of this, I hope you're entertained at the very least. But maybe we can convince you that this is the right place to be. Cool. So yeah, welcome to the 3D animation and visual effects portion of your open house. Like I said, our goal is to show you who we are. We'll entertain some of you, hopefully all of you. But the main thing I want you to see today is that we are a community, that we work together, students, faculty, staff. We push things forward together and collectively create some really great, exciting work. So I'm excited to share that with you today. Matthew gave you a great introduction to me. He called me North Star, actually. I've never been called a North Star before, but I will take that. So I'm Jimmy Calhoun. I'm the chair of the department. I like to say that my medium is people. So you work with pixels and I'm sure you're all still working with paint and graphite and things like that as well. I hope. I work with people. I bring people together. So when we're looking for faculty members, when we're recruiting students, I'm looking for people who I know will vibe well in what we have to offer and create a lifelong learning environment for us and for you. So that's what I like to think about when I do. And I'd like to show you some of the work that our students make. I think that's a great way to explain a little bit more about who we are. Maybe you've seen some of this work online, but this is a montage of some of the work from the graduating class of 2025. So those are clips from the thesis films from last year. So at the end of the 4 years of our students' time with us, they create a project, a thesis project that represents what they've learned with us. Most often this is a narrative film, a short animation or live action with visual effects. We do this year have 3 video games in production, but mostly it's animated and live action films. And those students are working with our underclassmen as well. So the moment you start as first year students with us, you have the opportunity to start connecting with the upperclassmen and the opportunity to work on projects like this, which is great because it's skill building. It gives you work for your portfolio as you're starting out that represents what you're learning and the direction you're headed as well. A lot of that learning is done in the classroom in addition to outside of the classroom and working with other students. Obviously, we are a school. So when you come here to earn your Bachelor of Fine Arts, you're going to do 130 credits? I should know this. But primarily, 72% of those credits are with studio arts. So that's going to include things like storytelling, concept art, 3D animation, modeling, rigging, lighting. You're going to learn the whole pipeline. We'll talk about the pipeline in a minute. But it's a very holistic approach to learning the art of animation and visual effects that we have. That's not to say that the other courses aren't important. Humanities are a great place for you to continue learning how to be professionals, how to be thoughtful artists, people in the world who approach society in a meaningful way with your art. And obviously learning about the history of what we do also is an important part of how you learn to grow and push yourself. David Rhodes mentioned the fact that we can switch our curriculum pretty quickly and easily here. An example of that for us is we used to be the computer art department. So 10 years ago we were called computer art, and then slowly the title became computer art, computer animation, and visual effects. Now our title is 3D animation and visual effects, which just shows the evolution of how we started a little bit more broad. Back in the 90s is when computer art started at SVA, and now we've really honed in on what we do. But that doesn't mean we aren't flexible. We have a lot of students who go beyond what traditionally we're thought of. We had a stop motion piece last year, which people don't necessarily think of when they think of 3D animation and visual effects. And of course we are starting to find ways to consider how AI is used in the careers in the industry that we're training you for. And school is a great place, college is a great place to explore and push and find you as the students working with the faculty to find ways to ethically, thoughtfully use new technologies. So we aren't shying away from that. And a lot of our students are not happy with AI, and that's fine too. I tell them you gotta learn to know your enemy, and that's an important part too. So no matter what your thoughts are on new technologies, especially AI, we are here to learn together, push forward together, figure it out together in an ethical way. So I mentioned the 3D pipeline. You were handed, when you walked in, you were handed a trifold that is this image as well. So if you're not familiar with the 3D and visual effects pipeline, this is a really great way to understand it, look through it. This will take you from the pre-production phase where ideation starts. So you plan your story, you write your story, you do your storyboard, you take it into an animatic where you're kind of getting it on its feet for the first time with timing. And you're considering the design throughout that whole process. What do my characters look like? What does the environment look like? You're sketching those things out. And then you're pulling them into the next phase of production where you're building those assets in 3D or you're filming them in live action. So this is going to include the modeling, sculpting of the character, adding your surfacing, your shaders, the textures. Is it wood? Is it fabric? What does it look like? What does it feel like? You're adding your rigs so you can animate the characters. So that's like adding a skeleton so that these puppets can be moved by the animators. And lighting is a thing that happens both in live action but also within a 3D environment. How you set up your lights can really affect the mood and the look and the feel. And once all of that is done, you have to render it, you have to composite it, you have to put all the pieces together, and that includes thinking finally about the color and how the color changes the mood and feeling as well. All of this is taught, all of this are topics that you will learn. Like I said, we approach it in a holistic way. You will, at some point, usually in the third year, decide I'm a specialist and I'm a lighter. That's what I do. I love lighting. I want to focus on lighting. And we will support and help you do that. But it's also important to us that you learn all of the steps along the way as well. I want to show you a breakdown from one of the visual effects projects from a few years ago as well. I think, it's easy. A lot of what we're talking about is focused on the 3D animation aspect,
but this will give you a good sense of what our VFX and compositing students are focused on. Um, so again, our students are learning all of the parts of these pipelines. In the first 2 years, it's important to us that all of our students are learning how to shoot live action footage, that they're learning how to composite live action and CG elements together. So then as you go on, you can really go down either road of a fully CG piece or a piece that's live action effects heavy. And I'm actually gonna invite a couple of our students to come up. Do-hee Kim and Jen Lee are gonna come tell you about their experience and their thesis project that they're working on, which I actually think is a beautiful marriage of all the things that we've been talking about, because they've been very focused on compositing, but they're working on a fully CG piece that's, well, I'll let them explain it. So please welcome Do-hee and Jen.
Hello, everyone. Hello.
Good morning. Thanks for coming to the open house. I hope you enjoyed Jimmy's presentation. Thank you again, Jimmy and Oliver, for inviting us to present our thesis. We're very excited to share with everyone. Just as Jimmy introduced us before, we are currently graduating seniors working on our thesis film. To be short and clear, our story is a tranquil film of a man saving himself by rescuing a bird. Before we deep dive and share the insights of our current work in progress, I wanted to introduce ourselves. My name is Jin. I am the producer, assistant director, and the editor for this film. I took upon all scheduling, organizing, and reaching out for any outsourced help for our thesis. Besides those roles within the CG pipeline, I take the main responsibility in environment and set dressing. And as for lighting and look dev, we both outlook on those aspects.
Hello, I'm Do-hee Kim. I am the creative director of the film. I am also responsible for any character aspects, as well as the ocean and forest environment with anything that involves simulation. Since we are a two-person team, even though we are both compositors, like Jimmy introduced us, we are overseeing all the aspects of the pipeline outside of our specialty as well. So let's dive into our film. So we have these mood boards that we collected. These mood boards are a very important reference for our film. I was initially inspired by my grandfather, who, after losing our grandmother, he was left alone, and I've thought about a lot of things, such as how could we live with huge absence of purpose of life, and what makes us go through this grief. And our film starts from showing the protagonist in deep grief. That's why the scene on the left side, when you see them, it's more dark, more gloomy, and the colors are very pale, but colors are a very important instrument of our film. By color, how we show how protagonists feel and how his emotions grow and go through. And that's why when you see the left side of the screen, it's more darker, but towards the end of the film, it's gonna be more vibrant and more brighter. So we have 3 environments in our film. We start from the ocean and we end at the ocean. It's the photos in the middle, and we have a lot of simulation going on for the ocean since we are a fully CG thesis. And throughout the film, the character is gonna spend a lot of time in his apartment and sometimes in the forest that's behind his apartment. And yes, so how we can make a visually pleasing scene. It starts from collecting references. During this summer, I have went to Korea where our film is located, and I've collected a bunch of photos. One thing you can collect from the internet, it's great, but it is amazing that you go to an actual environment that you would like to reference out and experience it by yourself. And these are the photos that we use for our ocean, and this is provided by our manager, Ash. And finally, our bird. We are having a swallow bird for our thesis, but we have referenced out of this Pixar short film called Piper. It's a great film. I would really recommend you to watch it. You haven't. We wanted the bird to look cute and somewhat a little bit stylized, but at the same time, we would like to have some realistic style as well. That's why we have chose this film for our reference. They are very cute and a little bit stylized, but at the same time, their fur looks really realistic, and that's the look that we're going for. And after all this reference and researches and all that jazz, we start visualizing our film. So it starts from drawing our storyboard after making the story, and then we have some concept art, character design, color scripts, and these are all the pre-production that I've done in my junior year before I jump into my senior year. And after that, we bring them to 3D. It is up to the artist which software we want to use. We have a lot of freedom in there. For us, we have used Maya and Nomad Sculpt for sculpting the character first. Then I brought them in Maya 3D software, and then I have simulated their clothes in Marvelous Designer for the character. And yeah, these are our 3D character and also our bird. They are rigged in Maya as well. We had a lot of help from our graduate student. The rigging is such a specific technical part of the pipeline. So since we're compositors, we've outreached our help for rigging, and generously they were down to help us, which is really great. The great thing about our thesis production, we are allowed to reach out to our underclassmen and also to our upperclassmen. It's a really good way to make connections, also to improve our film, and also to learn how to communicate as an artist as well.
And now over to our environment work in progress. This scene is one of our main environments, our character's apartment. Currently, I'm developing this scene in Maya, which is the industry standard CG and 3D software. This is the only scene in our film that takes place indoors and includes very detailed props and a lot of props. It's also one of our most important environments since it represents our character's progress of overcoming grief as time passes. and as the bird recovers as well. We're also expressing the emotional shift through lighting. Lighting is also another part of our film that will be very important, our forte. And the first half of the film will have a darker, gloomier tone with the strong color contrast, as you can see on the left. And throughout the film, while later on the lighting will gradually soften into warmer, gentler colors as the character begins to heal from grief. We've been receiving a lot of help from our classmates and underclassmen, especially this environment, again, just because there's a lot of props, which we're really grateful for. As Doi mentioned, I feel like one of the benefits while working on a thesis is we could reach out to a lot of underclassmen and also graduating students who are only 1 year above us, and we could reach out for help and also for networking purposes. And also because our goal is to finish most of our CG work as early as possible, because we want to get into post-production more, and since we're both compositors focusing in post-production. And below is showcasing few of our hero props featured inside the apartment, both done by our talented CG friends. Over on the left, 2 props is done by Anna Volkova, who is here with us today and will be introduced later during the panel event. And we also have another environment in our in the progress as well, which is the ocean. Again, as Doi mentioned, our film begins in the ocean and ends at the ocean. This was done by Doi, and she has been simulating the ocean since our junior spring semester, just testing out how the water, rocks, and the sand all interact together. And it was also a good practice for us to test what type of render system would be the most efficient and quickest for us to transfer to post-production. The scene is exceptionally done in Houdini due to being heavily simulation focused, and Houdini is also another software that a lot of effects artists use and is one of the industry standard softwares. And as you can see, the left is showing a flip particle simulation, and middle is the raw render, and right is composited, adding more color and lighting to the raw render. You could probably see the middle is pretty well rendered, but you can tell with more adding lights and editing the colors in post-production, it could be very visually appealing. And on the bottom half, we reached out to an underclassman who had experience in graphic design and testing out fonts and typography that would best fit for the visual of our film. We've been looking for a grounded but expressive, flowy typeface inspired like the ocean, since that's the main environment that starts and ends our film. And for now, currently we've been focusing on the middle typography at the very center, but hoping to continue revising and jumping back and forth feedbacks with our underclassmen. And hopefully we'll have a finalized font by the end of November. Finally, before we wrap up, if you're ever interested in keeping up with the latest updates of our thesis film, please feel free to scan the QR code, which leads directly to our thesis Instagram. And if you also have any other questions or want to reach out to us, you could also find us in our Instagram page, which additionally, you could view our personal showcases of works and our projects. And this concludes our presentation. Thank you all.
Thank you. That was really great. And Jen and some of our other students will be back up in a little bit to do a panel discussion. So they'll have answers to any questions you had then. Also, our students will be joining us at the facility after this portion of the day. So after we're done here and we have lunch, we'll be heading back over to our department, which is just a few blocks away. And there you will see our classrooms, our free time labs, the different studios that our students use to produce a lot of the work that you have been seeing today. I think it's also really important to talk about our faculty and our staff along with our students and alumni. As I mentioned, for us, it's really about a community. The faculty that we have are all working professionals, so a lot of them either work in the local advertising world, creating commercials for different advertising groups. But we also have faculty who work for places like Skydance or Disney, and they work remotely. And that's a really great thing for us, that the pandemic provided their ability to work remotely so they can live here and teach and work for these bigger studios as well. And then obviously our students and alumni are an important part of who we are. The student involvement beyond the classroom has them leading clubs. So earlier Matthew talked about the clubs at SVA, but within our department we have clubs that are specific to our students as well. And those are all student-led, student-created. They have a lot of different events. They invite different guest lecturers to come and talk about topics that are relevant to them in different ways. And there's also opportunities for mentorship through these clubs. And it's just a really great way to meet people and continue building relationships. Our students also get involved in internships. Every year we're pretty excited to see the process of students applying for the internships. It starts now. A lot of the internships for the summer are open for application now, and they'll go through the whole process of interviews. And most of our students intern during the summer months because that's easiest given the amount of work that they're doing as they're studying here. And then once they leave us, they're still a part of us. Our alumni come back, they teach, they talk to our students, they come and jury the thesis work at the end of the year. Once you're part of us, we don't let you go that easily. Our alumni are working at a lot of different studios, both here in the city and other places in the U.S. and abroad in many different countries. And we try to connect with them by going and visiting when we can. And there's opportunities for students to go during spring break to go to LA and visit studios, and they'll meet some of our alumni during that trip. And like I said, they'll come back here and talk as well. We're going to transition to our panel of students now. So we have 4 students, and Jen's going to lead the conversation. Jen's going to come back up and lead this conversation. As they're coming up and setting up their chairs, I'm going to show you the work of the students that you're meeting now. So we'll start with Anna. Next is the work of Vin. And this is Ryan. here's Nat Lowe's work. And last is our moderator, Jen. So Jen's gonna get us started with a few questions, and then she's gonna, after a little bit, ask you all if you have questions. So start thinking of them now. We have mics on both sides with admissions reps who will walk the mic to you. So when Jen asks if you've got questions, just raise your hand and we'll get you a mic. But please welcome our student panels.
Hi, everyone, again. I hope you enjoyed every one of our panelists' reel. I'm gonna skip the double intro because you guys already know who I am. Just wanna give you a spotlight to all of our panelists. But before I get started with the questions, I do want to ask each of the panelists to introduce themselves, their name, pronouns, year, and specialty.
Is this hot? Okay. Hi, guys. I'm Ryan. My pronouns are she, her. I'm a junior, and I specialize in character animation and character modeling.
Hi, everyone. My name is Natalie Lowe, but you can also call me Nat Lowe. And sorry, I forgot the question. Oh, I'm
Pronouns, year, and specialty.
okay. She, her. I'm a junior, and I like 3D modeling.
Hello, my name is Vin Vo. I'm also a he and him. I'm trying to remember the question.
Year.
Year. So I'm also a junior and I'm only an animator, so that's my specialty.
Cool. My name's Anna. I'm a senior. Pronouns are she, her, and I'm specializing in look development, but also interested in production.
All right, so we have a lot of different skill sets, but my first question for you all is, are you guys involved in any clubs? It can be within the department or the entire SVA or any organizations.
Okay. I'm part of the Mars Club, which is our mentor and mentee club for upperclassmen to help out underclassmen. So I have 3 mentees that I meet with every week to help them out with their homework and stuff. So that's my club, and I really love it.
3 mentees is crazy. I'm also in the Mars Club. I only have 1 mentee. And when I was an underclassman, I also had mentors. And Anna was my mentor last year. The Mars Club is like really great to like meet upperclassmen and like just like get help with anything. But Anna was great.
Join Mars. Join Mars.
Yeah. And Vin and I are co-presidents of the sculpting club where we do like ZBrush, and we also do like hand sculpting things sometimes. So like super fun.
Of course. I'm also a mentor for the Mars Club. Also, again, like for the
Like
Sculpting
all
Club,
of
I'm
us.
also, I'm also an officer for the Sculpting Club. Well, again, we do like fun events. Please come to those. And then also, I'm a vice president for the 3D animation club. We also do like a bunch of like guest speakers. We do some like events, just a bunch of fun events with relating to animation. So
Well, I'm also a mentor for a Mars Club, but it's very easy to get involved in clubs in general. And Jen can tell you more, but we have VFX Club, we have 3D modeling club, so it's not only these few clubs that we're in.
oh wait, I want to say one thing. Also, there's like other clubs because I used to be in the volleyball club because I like doing volleyball a lot. So there's a bunch of like other clubs outside like volleyball, soccer, pickleball, like a bunch of other clubs. Just go ahead and check them out. So.
There's definitely a lot of clubs outside of our department, but as the co-president of Mars, it's nice to hear that it's one of the popular clubs in our department, and also every single one of you guys is a mentor. I also have two mentees. They're very talented and very curious. Just to talk about a little bit about Mars, we mainly host mentor and mentee services, which upperclassmen, including junior and seniors, can be a mentor, while as the underclassmen, freshmen and sophomore could be mentees, and they could sign up who they want to mentor, who they want their mentor to be. And besides that, we also host a lot of events and demos, and we try to reach out to a lot of alumni or industry professionals to either come in person if they're living on the East Coast, or if they're outside of the East Coast, they're always welcome to do like info session through Zoom. Also want to give a little shout out to VFX Club as well. My thesis partner, Doi, she's the president of it. My next question is, now I know some of you guys have been involved something important this summer. I know some of you guys did internships, some of you guys participated in projects and won awards. I'm looking at you, Vin. Could each of you guys could just talk about what you've been doing this summer, or what insights have you gained, and what kind of talents do you think like you improved yourself on?
Okay, I guess we'll start. So yeah, I'm pretty sure y'all know I'm that one animator. If you've seen that on TikTok, all those Zelda animations, yeah, I'm that person. Yes.
He's famous.
Yo, chill. So it all started because I was just posting randomly, and I was like, you know what, I'm gonna just start an animation trend because I don't know, during the summer I was slacking really bad. So I was like, you know what, I need some kind of motivation, some kind of click. So I decided to start day one. I was like, okay, it didn't blow up. Day two, that's when I started blowing up. And so I was like, wait a minute, it's starting to click in a little bit. So I started keeping posting, and I realized I need a style. So I don't know if you know, because I know I do Zelda animation, that's my style, but the animation style I've been doing is no contact. So like, it could be like, oh, it's just a hug animation. No, I'm probably gonna do like a punch and then they hug. Like, just some like goofy animations. And I realized that that's kind of like my niche for animation, just doing something like not a lot of people expect. So like, I guess the story, what I've learned is that like, just don't animate to copy. I mean, it's good to like learn, but like animate something that like, that kind of like, you know, stands out, or like something unique. And I thought like doing something like goofy and cartoony is probably my thing. I just can't do serious animation, so that's another thing I couldn't do. And right now I'm doing, again, I'm pretty sure you know, I have like 1 million followers, and trying to do some like other stuff, trying to spread my social media around. And right now I am doing some like commissions for like big industries, so that's something pretty cool to talk about. But yeah, that's just kind of like my journey right now at the moment. Still posting a lot on TikTok and social media, so yeah.
What about your like award, like what you won?
Oh, that's what you're talking about. So my bad. Okay,
Bro.
so yes, for LG. So yes, so LG, they were doing this Wonder Box thing where you have to create an animation for the wildlife animals, like endangered animals, and they will post it on the big screens in Times Squares. So my team, Halem, shout out to her, she's not here, but we got 3rd place. And it turns out 1st and 2nd place were also from our school. So 1st, 2nd, 3rd were all from this school. So right there, that's one of the 2nd place winners right there. And what we did, we all went out to California, was on TV, don't know what's the show, but we were on TV just getting our rewards. We had a lot of fun, so it was pretty nice that we won. It was pretty fun. Oh my God, the project's pretty fun. Wish I could show you like the project we did, because yeah. So, got anything else to say?
Guys, he won like thousands of dollars.
I don't care about the money. No, it's not for the money. Not for the money. No, but it was fun. I think all the projects I've done during the summer, even though I said I was slacking, I learned a lot. I feel like I learned a lot from summer. I know I said I slacked, but I tried to still make use of it. So.
You're not supposed to admit that you were slacking.
Well, I have to be honest, you know. There's moments where I slack, but like there's moments where I don't know. It's like stocks. You know, how, like keeps going up and down. It's kind of like that for me. So yeah, that's just my story.
Well, you were in the West Coast as well, doing something fun, huh?
Okay, yeah. So this summer I interned at Pixar, and it's like in the Bay Area. I'm also from the Bay, so it's also like nice to be home. But I feel like being at school, you're surrounded by like super creative people already. But then like going to Pixar, everybody's so creative, and like I've never been in a room with so many like talented people, or like so many talented people before. And I feel like I just learned so much every day. Like Pixar is like a 40-hour work week for 12 weeks, so like you're bound to like learn so much just like being around so many creative people for so long. But I feel like I don't have like one main like just one takeaway, but I feel like I just grew so much as a person. And this summer I like really challenged myself to like talk to new people. Yeah, overall, it was just a really great experience.
Well, I've been busy working for Frame Store, who is a post-production company. They have office in LA as well, but I worked in their New York office. And basically, it's a studio's assistant. So you do runs, you help out people and kind of like make sure studio runs smoothly. And the fun fact is that I found out about this job through Jimmy and through our department in general, because they're doing such a great job kind of sourcing all the opportunities that you can get and getting them to you as fast as you can, so you can apply and get the opportunity that you want. So that was super exciting. And it's cool to just be in the city and kind of explore the field that you want to work in and see and notice how small it is and how people know each other. And there's so much connection between like professors and myself. And then you go to the office and it's the same people, because it's so fun to work like together and to work so close and really to get to know everyone personally. And yeah, that was cool.
That was cool.
Okay, well, I can't be the odd man out and not say anything. So I did not intern this past summer, and I don't have 1 million TikTok followers, but hopefully maybe I could share some interesting insight. So I worked on so many senior thesis films last year as a sophomore, too many. And all summer long, I just got so crazy burnt out, and I didn't even want to touch my computer. I was like, I can't do this anymore. And I feel like over the few months of summer, I really realized like, okay, I just found out my limit. Like that was my threshold of how much I can do, and unfortunately, I had to learn that the hard way. So when the end of the summer came around, and I started to feel like, man, like, you know, I didn't really get any work done this summer. My mom said to me like, no, like you're gonna be fine. And I had tickets to Comic-Con, and I was like, you know what, maybe if I explore a different form of art, like let me get myself back into this in a way that works for me. So I crammed like 4 months of work on a cosplay of Ash from Overwatch, and I wore it to Comic-Con, and I ended up on the New York Daily News with the cosplay. So that was pretty cool, and I got the chance to, you know, learn my limit and learn that sometimes like one track and tunnel visioning yourself is just gonna end up with you in burnout. So if you do anything, just remember that like you don't need to only focus on one thing. You can be an artist and do so many different things and really stretch your wings, and you'll learn a lot that way.
Very, very diverse way of how each individual student spent their summer. And I just want to clarify that there's no right or wrong way to spend your summer. You could luckily get into an internship. You could either find a time for yourself to, you know, improve on your own skill set, or you could take a break sometimes. You know, we need all of that break. So now I'm gonna give the questions to the audience. If anyone has any questions, you guys could raise your hands up.
I think you have a
The
question
middle,
right over here.
upward. Oh, okay.
Hi.
Hello.
Okay. This question is it Anna, I believe.
Yeah, Anna.
are you the senior in the group?
Yes, yes, yes.
So I'm just curious, how did that summer experience seem to be transitioning as you start to look to graduate and transition into employment postgraduate?
Yeah, absolutely. So I started the runner position as a temporary, and it started in March, so the end of the junior year. And basically, what it was is whenever a studio needs help, for example, they have clients and they are more overwhelmed than usual, they will call me up so I can just be extra person to cover the needs. And then over summer, I got opportunity as a full time, so I was there 40 hours a week doing all the job. And then back going to school, I was very transparent with the company that I'm still a student. And as much as I want, I cannot commit 40 hours a week. And luckily, they are very nice about it. And they are putting me in the position where first I can choose my hours, and second, they are calling me when they have a need for work. So that has been great. And I was able to, I mean, it's still October, still beginning of the year, but for now I am able to commit both to school fully as well as the job. But then graduating, it is hard to say because no one's gonna sit you down and tell you, okay, you're gonna have a job, we're gonna give you everything. It's not gonna happen, and it's not very realistic in this field. But that being said, you earn so much connection, and you kind of have this feel for what's going to come up in the company, what opportunities will be open, and all of those things. And I've kind of realized that there will be a lot of opportunities in production side of things. So like being a producer and growing to it, right? So being a production coordinator or assistant, and it is very likely that position will be open. And that being said, companies really love to hire internally. So I already count as their staff. So it is very likely for me to get back there since I had experience working with it. Does it answer the question, right? Okay, cool. Thank you for asking.
Okay. Hi, my name is Hawk Lee. I have a question for Vin.
Yes.
I'm Vietnamese American. Are you Viet?
I'm Vid, but I'm a fake Vid because I don't know how to speak Vietnamese.
Oh,
I'm like too
Jiao,
whitewashed. I'm
hi,
sorry.
yeah.
Jiao, yeah.
Well, it's okay. I'm born in a refugee camp in Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia. My parents ran away from communist Vietnam in 1989.
Same with my family too.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah, that's actually
My
pretty
parents were born in the 60s and then came to America, came to Vietnam in 96, and 98 came to America. My parents are like, is YouTube going to pay you? Because YouTube doesn't pay you. You should give up. But I'm glad I went here and everyone's success. And I'm like, oh, okay, I can keep going. Because I have 10 years of YouTubing, Nighthawk Films, NIGHT HOC FILLMS, Night HOC Films is my YouTube channel. But I don't know how to like commercialize that. So I'm taking comic book with Carl Potts. Comic book art. So yeah, I want to go here because then I'm like, how do I get the commercial part of the art? Yeah, yeah, because like, when you're a YouTuber, it's hard to get people to donate to Patreon, and the successful YouTubers probably DoorDash. They don't tell you about it. They make it look easy, but I'm glad there's a school that's modern education and stuff because a lot of schools don't do this. I've been to other film programs. They're like, none of the students have a YouTube channel, so SVA is very different compared to other colleges, I guess.
Because I mean, I know our school isn't like really like a.
Then use your mic.
I was gonna say, yeah. Test. Sorry. So, when it comes to like the social media, because I know our school isn't really more on the social media side. For me, it's just because I just got I'm gonna be honest. I just got very lucky, and I just took advantage of it, and just kept posting. But if you wanna like really try to like stand out, I guess try to like be like good at one skill and like show it off, like express it a lot, and that way people will like, ooh, I like that, like, because again, I only post animations, right? But like I change it up and get people to like, ooh, that's really interesting animation, like it's very unique. So then also because I mean I only post on TikTok, that's the thing. YouTube, because I'm trying to expand my social media area, so but I don't know if I answered your question, to be honest.
I kind of explained my life, but I guess the two questions are, how does SVA support you
So,
as like their diversity program? Like I've been to other schools that don't. I was the only Vietnamese person
that's my family always say. They don't believe in like the art life. That's because I was born from Mississippi. There was no art stuff there at all. Like there's zero animation. That's why I took a big ambitious risk and moved to New York, and pray that like maybe this animation could help. And I enjoyed it a lot. I started pushing get yourself out there in the school. I would say that don't just go to school and just go home. Go to school, stay there, just talk with people, get to like connect with people, get to know them, and you never know. You make some big connections. Like I made some nice people here, and I'm getting to know them a lot better. So and then it helped me. It also motivated me to keep going, and then like you become a better person if you just keep going to school and like stay there a little bit, just interact with them. That's one thing. And then for your first question for the social media, I think because I didn't really like show off my social media that much on the SVA. I know they like SVA does like to like post like people's work on their Instagrams to show off or like advertise them. I think that's one thing because I don't think SVA has like a big like again YouTube or commercial thing unless someone wants to add on top of it.
No, I mean we do
We have
plug each
SVA
other,
TikTok.
like
never-
on the like the 3D Instagram, like
We have- no, that's like 3D.
we
We have a
share
3D
each other's work all the time.
They like to post like people's work a lot, and it gets pretty big too. So that's one thing. Like if you keep posting your works, there'll be a moment where SVA will post your work on Instagram, and it will stand out. That's one thing too. So, huh?
Yeah, then just keep doing your own thing, man.
Keep-
That's how you do it. Yeah, just do your own thing. You're gonna do great.
We're gonna move on to the next question. I think I saw a hand at the top there, the top row.
I'm Rio. At the moment, I am a student at Art and Design, and I was wondering, how's the school culture here? Like, how are people friendly? Is it more like laid back, or is it competitive, or what's the attitude of students here? That's just what I was wondering.
To be very specific within our department is one of the majors that have the least amount of student body compared to like 2D animation or illustration and cartooning. To be honest, everyone kind of knows everyone just because the student body is so small. And by the end of the year, like you'll be able to know like everyone within your year. And if you try to come to the labs very often, you'll see even more people, which upperclassmen are usually the ones that stay in the lab often. So I think we're pretty like encouraging. A lot of us like are really hungry to learn and to connect with people. So I think we're very supportive of each other and very open to one another.
Yeah, and I would honestly particularly advise against having a competitive mindset. I don't think we're really competitive with each other at all because we are all friends. We all do know each other, and like a success for one person in the department is really a success for all of us, you know, because it's like we're here to support our friends and learn from each other, and you're never going to learn from anybody if you focus really hard on being better than them. It doesn't really work like that. So I would say like in our department, it's very friendly, it's very supportive, and if you give out support and good vibes to everybody, you will absolutely get that in return. I feel that every day.
I was gonna ask. Okay, so here's a small story. So again, when I came to the school first year, right, I had no experience with 3D stuff, and I thought everyone's like really good. So I had the competitive mindset. I said, all right, I should not make friends. I should stay independent. But then I realized, wait a minute, because everyone was pretty quiet. My block specifically was pretty quiet. So I was like, wait a minute, everyone's pretty chill. We're all on the same level. And I realized we gotta work together. So I had that mindset, we gotta work together. We gotta try to finish these classes. Shout out to Eric, because in that class, most of the people fall asleep in that class. So we try to like watch over each other, like be friends. I was the guy to like, all right, make sure no one's sleeping. I was like right next to the professor, making sure like he's not looking back, because everyone like behind is like dead. I'm like, oh shoot, and I'm distracted to my professor. Professor's like asking us questions. I'm like, yep, but not understanding what he's saying. So
You're a hero, Vin.
yeah, so I'm saying like, I promise like, everyone's gonna be friendly. I promise you, don't be competitive. Just know like they're gonna be your friends. Like I'm already like really close. We hang out like almost every day. My freshman year, we party a lot. So I'm telling you, you're gonna make a lot of friends there. So just be out there.
I wanted to add that, like, I feel like because our department is so small, like, you can, like, kind of see what everyone else is working on. And that, like, always inspires me to do better. Like, in class, we always share work every week. and like I see people's work and I'm like, oh my gosh, I need to work harder. But it's like not in like a competitive as in like I'm not doing good enough. It's like like more like a slight competitive as in like, oh, they're inspiring me to do better. Like I want to be just as good as like my peers. So yeah.
And I feel like we're also pretty diverse place in terms of where's everyone came from. And it's such a unique perspective in this, not in the studio, in the lab where we all are collaborating and everyone brings something to the table that is completely new and unseen. So that's cool and fun and nice.
Could I just ask how we are on time?
Yeah, we still have time for about 10 more minutes worth of questions.
Okay,
So I think we have one
Oh,
right up
plenty.
here.
Nice.
So I'm autistic, and I was just wondering if there's like disability services, and if like there's a lot of other autistic students.
I would check the website for disability information because I don't know how well we'll be able to answer that, unfortunately. But that goes for like every department, not just ours. So you could definitely find it on the website.
I'll answer really quickly. We have an office of disability resources that work with students that are neurodivergent or have any other needs. We definitely can support all students. Yeah.
We have one question here.
Howdy. Okay, it works. So I'm a 3D modeler myself, and one of the biggest problems that I've run into while I've modeled on my 3-year journey now is that when it comes to learning a new skill, whether that be specific rigging or texturing, or what I'm doing right now is retopology. I've been stuck on that for like a month because I just don't want to. That's a lot of work, retopology. But I was wondering what you guys would give an advice in terms of how to get over mental roadblocks like that when it comes to learning new things in the field.
Anna and Nalo.
Well, first of all, if you have an ability, seek help and ask people who do it all the time and who are professionals and who've done retopology for characters or whatever else you're doing it for. And I feel like it's good to just kind of learn from them in their language, in their terms, in their setup. And also just step away, just do something else and come back to it and get that excitement back. And I feel like that's the most important part. You gotta love what you do and you gotta just feel free to not be obligated to finish it right here in the moment and make sure you give yourself grace. But yeah, I think.
I mean, you said it. I can't give a better answer than that. She is absolutely right.
Thank you.
Oh my God! Wait. Also, let me just add on really quick. We have an amazing professor. His name is Alex Shaparov, and he has a YouTube channel.
Yeah, that's Retopo guy.
Or if you forget the name, just find one of us, and we'll be able to provide you his name. Definitely agreed. We can move on to the next question. I have one at the bottom row. She raised her hand first.
Trying to see who's closer.
Oh, right there, the brown jacket.
Hi. So my question is about like professors, and this can go to anyone. So do your professors are they engaging? They help you really get out into the field and push you enough so that you're on the standards of how the field is changing constantly? Because I know with you're obviously competing with other computer animation schools, and I want to do 3D computer animation mainly. So do they push you so that you can compete with these other schools and keep you up with the new standards going on?
I wanted to say something. One of my professors, her name is Christina, and she also did the exact same Pixar internship I did 10 years ago, and then she went back and worked at Pixar for 5 years. And because she's had that experience, I feel like she really helped me get my internship. There's no way I would have gotten my internship without having that connection and having all her knowledge being bestowed onto me. So yeah, I feel like you do really you gain so much by being at a school where you have professors who's been in this industry, if that answers your question.
I think rather than competing with other schools, it's like once you start college in SVA, it kind of like you kind of want to focus on yourself rather than being competitive with other schools because like we said, the people like within like the department we encourage rather than be competitive. That kind of goes the same to outside of schools because later you're going to realize all these people that are go to different schools but that are specializing the same skill set as you, you're going to meet them again one day, like in the same company or through like connections. And for me personally, I encouraged connecting with my personal like professors because again, like Natlo, I had my professor back in my sophomore year that he kind of helped me connect with people to the industry I wanted to focus, which was the post-production. And I kind of continued to do that and also learn what other people he had connection with, which also that also led me to an internship to where he previously worked at. So I think they're pretty encouraging if you try to put yourself out in the world. Yeah.
Why are you plugging something else other than our school, dog? Come to our school.
I'm very sorry. I'm just gonna interrupt you for just now. We're just gonna answer for us. But if you're available afterwards, you could feel free to talk with other peers. But we're gonna move on to next question.
Yeah, we have one right over here.
The one with the green hoodie.
Hey, so I'm Tony, and anyone can answer this question, but I'm gonna ask this one for Zin. Do you have any favorite creators, shows, or films that influences your work?
Do you want to go?
I guess so. Like, I'm pretty sure y'all know like Riot Games is like my biggest dream. That's like their styles. I just love their style. Another style because I've been doing it a lot. More like I guess like the Spider-Verse or Demon Hunter style, like the 2D like blocky animations. I don't know. That just style is very unique. Also, just like the League of Legends. Like, if you ever watched like the League of Legends like cinematics, like the old ones, no, those are like they go hard. That's why I like really like those. I guess like more of the short films are kind of like for the game short films. Those are really good. So that's what inspires me a lot. So yeah.
For me, after I realized what I wanted to pursue in, I started focusing on a lot of like post-production companies, especially like in advertisement, like specifically what kind of like ads they do or like what kind of skill set they implemented. And I think also like professors kind of inspired me, like my professors' work and like the commercials they involved in kind of also inspired me as well.
I have a question I want to ask. I wanted to ask with like interactions with like other departments in the school, like if you want to collaborate with another department, how would you do it? I'm sorry. How would you do the collaboration with other departments and things like that?
I think our chair, like if you have the urge of wanting to collab with like other majors, usually, well, at least like half of us are like the club leaders. We usually try to reach out to Jimmy. Jimmy has like a lot of connections within the chairs of other department and say, oh, we want to collab with like 2D animation. And and Jimmy has a close connection with the chair of 2D animation. And that's kind of how we interact. And also there's also club organizations that you could also meet a lot of people from outside department. Or I know there's like an upcoming event with like NYU like master's program. So it's not like rare. People will try to reach out like to other majors and schools. So
Okay, I have a question from the live stream.
yes.
They say, I noticed your curriculum still has some foundational courses such as life and figure drawing. if your weak point is in figure drawing, would you take that class to improve?
So initially at the beginning, like your first year at SVA, there is foundational courses, which is required. Our first year is set up like a block schedule, so you would most likely be with the same people throughout like your entire year during freshman year. But I wouldn't say don't be discouraged just because like you're weak on it. Again, like everyone, like the student body is very encouraging with one another. So if you're like struggling or anything, like professors and like your peers could always help you out. So hope I answered the question.
I want to add something.
Yes.
I feel like that class, my freshman year, was like my favorite class. It was the most therapeutic class. It's like 6 hours of just drawing. Like, how could you hate it? It's so nice.
Don't worry, you get an hour break most of the time.
So like 5 hours.
You won't starve.
Yeah. No, it's a really fun class though.
Thank you so much.
All right, we have time for one more question. I see one right over here. You're first.
Hi, I'm Quinn. I don't know, I guess everybody could, it's not targeted to one specific person, but I'm a 2D animator trying to like transition into like 3D. I want to like get into hybrid animation. Would this school be, what I'm trying to ask is like, is this school accepting of like different art styles, or would you have to stick to one specific thing?
I think our department is very open to it, especially for us, we have like the graduating thesis film. I know a lot of seniors who graduated previously in the past few years have worked on like stop motion, but also implementing like post-production, like compositing, or also like 3D aspects. I know someone who graduated last year, they did like a stop motion. A few of the films also implemented like 2D traditional animation to their like 3D CG film. So I think our department is like very open to it. Yeah.
Thank you.
And also, if I know a few of you guys raised their hands to ask questions, we'll be sticking around afterwards. So if you still want to ask that question, feel free to find us.
Yeah. Thanks to our students. You guys can sit right. You can sit tight for 1 second. I'm just gonna wrap us up. I wanted to touch base on a couple things. We do try to interact with other students at SVA, other departments. Like we co-host events with animation, with the 2D animation group. So we just had Amazon in earlier this week to talk to both departments. Disney was here a few weeks ago talking to the whole school. So we had illustration students in here and all of our students and so forth. So we find opportunities to collaborate with the other departments as well. And we love different styles. I want our students to create something that speaks to them, that showcases who they are creatively. So absolutely diversity in style. We're not gonna push you into a specific style. And the last thing I wanted to say was, I think those drawing classes, those foundation classes, there's a lot to learn there. Even if you like aren't a great figure drawer, learning about composition and lighting. If you're gonna shoot live action stuff, learning about these through a different skill and technique is very valuable. So there's a lot to learn from those courses. Even if you're like, I don't draw, you'll get a lot from that. I'm going to thank you for coming. Thank you for coming. I'm gonna let Jake explain how we're doing lunch. Our students are gonna come back to the facility with us. So if you didn't have a chance to ask questions today, here, you'll be able to see them later and ask questions. So Jake, please.